Special effects and illusions designer Jim Steinmeyer once said, "Magicians don't protect their secrets from the audience. They protect the audience from their secrets." Which is true. Magic is always more fun if you can't figure it out. But sometimes we just want to know how the dang trick is done. And over the years, magicians have spilled the beans on stage, in books, and even in court. So, today, we're uncovering the secrets behind some famous historic magic tricks. But first, make sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. After that, leave us a comment and let us know what other men behind the curtain you'd like to sneak a peek at. Okay, I have to think the Alliance is going to frown on this. On a live 1983 CBS television special, the iconic magician with the Dickensian name David Copperfield did what certainly seemed to be the impossible. He made Lady Liberty disappear. A live audience, television crew, and stage were all on a large platform on Liberty Island in New York City, viewing the Statue of Liberty in the distance. Also on the platform, framing the statue, were two scaffolds decorated in lights. Copperfield raised a curtain between the scaffolds to hide the statue and give a short soliloquy on cherishing freedom, which you may find more powerful than the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution combined. Then the curtain dropped, the lights flashed, and the Statue of Liberty was gone. Take that, Planet of the Apes. But don't worry, unlike in Ghostbusters 2, that big green She-Hulk of American iconography didn't actually move at all. So how did Copperfield do it? Actually, pretty easily. He just rotated the platform everyone was standing on. The vibrations of its movement were masked by loud music being pumped through speakers, while Copperfield speechified over the noise. When the curtain dropped, the platform's new location blocked the statue from view by one of the scaffolds, and the stage lights were turned on so bright that no one could see the statue behind them. So, good luck trying that one at home. Ask an average Joe or Jane to think of one magician, and chances are they'll give you Harry Houdini, one of the most celebrated and influential illusionists. Houdini was most known for his daring and dangerous escape tricks. He was totally committed to the bit, too. His life came to a tragic end as the result of a stunt gone wrong. Hey, Harry, we didn't need to believe in magic that badly. Among Houdini's many tricks was the underwater box escape. He would climb handcuffed into a wooden crate that was nailed, trussed, and chained shut. And if that wasn't enough, the Houdini stuffed crate was hoisted by a crane into New York's East River, where it promptly sank. But a few minutes later, Houdini would emerge, free of his bonds, at the water surface, presumably after trading some gossip with the fish. So how the heck did this guy do it? Well, basically, with a trick crate. It had small holes in it that not only helped the crate sink quicker, but allowed Houdini to easily breathe while he waited for the box to be nailed. Did you hear the big sarcastic air quotes around the word nailed? Because while the crate appeared to be nailed shut, one of the sides had two fake nail heads, which disguised a trap door. Once Houdini was inside the crate and it was being lifted by the crane, he would take off the handcuffs with a handy pair of hidden keys. After the crate hit the water and sank enough to cause sufficient thrills, he would simply kick open the crate at the hidden hinge and swim to the surface. Yeah, it's much less impressive when you know how it's done. Hopefully, he apologized to any lifeguards watching to whom he undoubtedly gave heart attacks. David Copperfield is back to discombobulate us all once again. Copperfield performed his Lucky 13 trick regularly during his Las Vegas shows. First, large bouncy balls are thrown into the audience to select 13 volunteers at random, which would be a very whimsical way to decide the Hunger Games. The 13 people are led onto the stage and asked to sit on a raised platform with a curtain draped over them. For some added spooky theatricality, the volunteers shine flashlights through the curtain to show they are still there. But then, the curtain is dropped with explosions and the 13 people disappear. Did he just detonate a group of total strangers? No, it's merely the power of illusion. Copperfield redirects the audience's attention to the back of the theater, and the 13 volunteers reappear behind them. How's that for a lucky number? Now, you really shouldn't try this one at home, because 58-year-old British tourist Gavin Cox was chosen as one of the volunteers at Copperfield's show, and he got himself injured in the process. So Cox sued Copperfield, and as part of Copperfield's defense, he was forced to reveal the secrets of the trick in open court. Just as the sheet is being pulled from the raised platform with a flourish, assistants are helping the 13 volunteers out of the back of the platform and into a backstage area. They're led through a passageway around the theater and to the back where they can reappear. That's the kind of case you hope for when you get jury duty, testimony, and a show. Cox claimed this passageway was dimly lit and had loose construction material and dust lying every which way, causing him to slip, fall, and become injured. Copperfield countered that thousands of people had participated in the trick over the years, and he himself walked that same pathway earlier, and nobody else had ever gotten hurt. Which is a bit like claiming you're indestructible because you've never broken a bone, but it is a fair point. The jury wound up finding Copperfield negligent, but not civilly liable for Cox's fall, determining that the magician owed the volunteer no money in damages. In other words, he made his liability disappear. British magician Robert Harbin invented the classic zigzag box illusion in 1965, performing it for many an amazed audience since. It's like the sawing a person in half trick's groovier cousin. In the illusion, an assistant steps into an upright cabinet with their face, hands, and foot visible through openings in the front. The foot, presumably, so Quentin Tarantino can stay focused. The magician then inserts sharp, dangerous metal blades horizontally in the cabinet's midsection, dividing it into thirds. Then they slide the cabinet's midsection apart from the top and bottom thirds, so there could be no mistaking that the assistant is now in 3 distinct pieces. The magician adds to this gruesome ordeal by opening a small door on the cabinet's midsection to reveal the assistant's body somehow intact inside and reassure the crowd that a crime has not taken place. At the end, the assistant's midsection is slid back into place, the 2 blades are removed, and the performer steps out of the cabinet in one piece. So, what's the secret? Dark magic? Well, while the assistant doesn't go that far, this trick does rest on their shoulders, rather than the magician's. The box is made to look narrower than it actually is. There are black stripes down the side used to imply negative space, but those black spaces are actually quite usable. The assistant still fits in the rearranged box, though it's a very tight fit. And when the blades are inserted, it looks like they take more space than they do, although they probably feel huge when you're crammed in there waiting for the routine to be over. In essence, the trick relies on a flexible assistant and forced perspective. And Harbin was so annoyed at magicians stealing his stuff that he wrote all of this down in the 1970 book, The Magic of Robert Harbin. There were only 500 copies, and Harbin only granted those who bought the limited book permission to use the zigzag. Fans of Red Dead Redemption, now you'll know how this is done. The bullet catch trick, which, as it sounds, involves the magician conjuring superhuman speed to literally catch a bullet fired out of a dang gun. It's thought to have been performed as far back as the 16th century. Several street magicians did versions of the trick throughout the 18th century, many claiming to have invented it themselves, which is a thing street magicians do. Many versions of this death and physics-defying stunt exist, but the basic mechanics are that a bullet, sometimes marked by an audience volunteer, is loaded into a gun by a magician. An assistant aims the gun at the magician from a distance and fires directly at the magician's dome. Sometimes there is an object, such as a pane of glass, between them that breaks for extra oomph. And then the magician does not fall over and die, but instead reveals that they caught the bullet in their teeth. Tasty and thrilling. The most common method to perform this gunpowder-filled breakfast of champions is to load the gun with blanks, so a properly powerful explosion occurs, but no actual bullet leaves the barrel. During this fracas, the magician palms a spare bullet and places it in their mouth out of the audience's view. Any prop in the way of the imaginary bullet's path, like a glass pane, is broken with a squib or electric charge. And then the magician gives their audience a bullet-eating grin to massive and terrified applause. Other versions have permeated through the sick and twisted minds of magicians. Back when you had to load individual rounds into your musket, some assistants employed a magnetic bullet that could be dropped down the barrel of the gun, then picked back up when a magnetized stick was pushed down to quote-unquote load it. The trick has also been performed with wax bullets that can shatter glass but melt before they reach the performer, which still sounds terrifying. Another common early method was to palm the marked bullet, but then fire a real one but aim to miss, which sounds downright stupid. At least no one ever tried to catch a bazooka missile. All of these methods have their own inherent danger, clearly, as no trick using a firearm can be 100% safe. Several performers have actually perished attempting this trick. including American magician William Ellsworth Robinson, who wore heavy makeup and spoke broken Chinese to perform as Chong Ling Su. When a bullet accidentally hit him during a performance, he dropped the act, shouting in English for the first and last time on stage. "Oh my God, something's happened. Lower the curtain." Huh. Something's happened might be the gentlest way anyone has ever said, "I've been shot." Even Harry Houdini, that maverick escape artist, never performed the bullet-catching trick because it was so dangerous. So, definitely do not try this one at home. Remember what happened to Christian Bale in The Prestige. So what do you think? Which of these tricks surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.